All right, so here's the deal. I'm real close, real close. The thing is, I can't pull it in 6th gear all the way to peak horsepower due to a speed limiter that I cannot remove on these things. Ever since RDRS came along, they've taken away my ability to adjust the speedometer, and so I have to pull it in 5th gear to get your peak horsepower RPM. Now what that does is it changes the gear ratio and reduces everything by about 2.5%. So what I'm gonna do is, oops, reflash this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it in 6th gear, and then I'm gonna shut it off and get it back to the exact same conditions as close as I can, and then pull it in 5th gear again. So what that'll do is it'll give us a very repeatable line between 5th and 6th gear. So that way, if the lines were to continue, you can see what the actual peak horsepower would be as if I were able to pull it in 6th gear as close as possible. That's the only way I can really describe it. But even in 5th gear, we're real close to Mama's goals. So we'll see what happens. As soon as this gets done flashing here, let's give it a shot. First pull. Made 150, just shy of 152 torque. And I'll flip it around when we're finally done, and it's a pretty graph. You got 140 foot-pounds of torque with 2,500. So wait for this thing to cool down a little bit, get back, and then I can repeat that same pull in 5th gear, which is going to give you a lower overall number, but it'll allow me to get past where peak horsepower is made. Notice I haven't told you how much horsepower it makes yet, because we're not to the peak horsepower yet. We're about 200 RPM shy, and that makes a difference when you're near 6,000. So go for it. So here's what we made. So like I said, the torque's gonna read lower because I was in a different gear. And we went from, hold on, let me cover this up quick. Let's go like this. And we went from just shy of 152 to just over 158. So that's 4.5 foot-pounds of torque, or 3.5 foot-pounds of torque. The whole RPM range till we get to the point where it rolled throttle off because I hit speed limiter. Now, if I bring that back, show you horsepower as well. The figures are the same, relatively. However, it continues to carry, and you can see that gap is staying consistent the whole way till it lays over. So I'm confident in saying in 6th gear this thing would make 150.6 horsepower. I know, call it semantics, numbers, whatever you want to play, but at the same time I can go and do this too. Switch everything over to STD, and I'll click apply. Look at that. You made 151 horsepower in 5th gear. So, yes, I know you were really hoping for 152, but what I got you is an incredibly flat torque curve and something that is going to piss off a few other 131s that aren't suspecting. So, sorry I couldn't get you the 152 you were asking for on paper, but this is pretty damn close if you're asking me.